It is.
Well, hi and welcome everybody. It is August 12th, 2025, and we are on the retreat hotline. I am here with my co-partner, Nick Vanello, and some lovely people who are joining us with interested in all things retreat related. I'm sure all things retreat related, right? And what we're going to be talking about today is, let me get my subject matter, sales pages that convert. So we're going to talk about 20 minutes or so, Nick and I, back and forth about what's important to get a sales page that converts. And the way we want to teach today is get it to convert without selling your soul, well, without you feel like you're selling your soul to do that, which is as heart-centered entrepreneurs is kind of a really important topic for us. Nick and I are going to go back and forth. And after that, we'll answer questions about sales pages or anything else retreat related that you have that you're curious about, because we're here to answer questions. But we know that a sales page is the key thing that is going to connect you and your message to the people you want to serve, the people who you want to be on your retreat, and the people who you want to be with on your retreat. And getting that retreat sales page done well, correct, do what it's intended to do effectively, is going to make your sales of your retreat, not your selling, but your sales of your retreat, so much more effective. You're going to spend a lot of time, effort, and money marketing your retreat. The important thing is to set yourself up that what you're doing is effective when you're spending your time doing that. And that's what the key parts we want to talk about that you want to incorporate into your sales page so that your time is spent effectively, because you are going to spend time marketing your retreats, just part of the process. Nick, do you want to start out and talk about the first part of this?
Sure. Let's start out. I'm actually going to start in a little bit different place, and that is make creating a headline that is in plain language. And the reason I've decided to bump this all the way to the top is because I had two pieces of homework that came in yesterday that just I'm like, what is this retreat about? And I'm all for a woo-woo headline, okay? I love the reclaim your glow type of thing. That's fantastic. However, you gotta let me know what reclaim your glow is. So if you give me a headline that's very nebulous, like reclaim your glow, you've got to let me know that with a subhead, a mountain retreat set to reset your nervous system and reconnect to your joy. Give me an explanation of what I'm getting myself into. Because between the headline and the retreat promise, I need to know within the first few seconds whether this retreat is going to be made for me. And I think that's really important. So, a mountain retreat to reset your nervous system and reconnect with your joy is fantastic. And if you want to add that little bit of woo at the top, reclaim your glow, fantastic. Okay. So that's where I'm starting today because I saw it too yesterday that made me go, what the heck is this about? So, Leo, what do you got?
Well, I'm the same way because I'm a you got to remember who your audience is, and I'm an information guy. I've got a little analytical side. Nick and I were funny. We were just talking about that before we started in my personalities. I'm analytical. I want information. I want to know right away. What is this about? And is it? And then I'm going to go, is it for me? And then I'm interested in reading the next thing that you have on your page. If I'm not interested right away and I don't know who it is, and I may not want to spend the time figuring it out because I don't know it's for me, then I might move on to something else. And that's the whole secret and powerful of effective copywriting. You don't try to say everything in every paragraph, because we see this over and over again in the sales pages we review for people, is they want to put everything into a long paragraph and they think, well, they need to know all this and this and this. No, here's a little key copywriting point. Each section has its purpose, and you only want to communicate that thing that that person reads it, understands what the purpose is, just like Nick did when he said, I want to know what your retreat is about and who it's for. And if it's for me, I'll read the next thing in there that has a purpose. And if that is well written and short and impactful and directed to me, who you we'll call it I'm your ideal client avatar, then I will read the next thing, and then I'll be slowly drawn all the way through your page. And that's what you want to do. Okay. And that's good copywriting, which most of it aren't used to doing. We're not writing a term paper like we all learned to do in school. We're writing copy, and copy is short, concise, impactful, communicates one short thing, another short thing, another short thing. Okay. So look for your text. If you have long paragraphs of explanation and information, it's not working for you. It's actually counterproductive.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next thing that we like to see on a sales page is what we call a qualifier. So you've got the title, so I know who it's for and I know what it's about, and that's interests me. And the reason because you're going to put it in front of the person who you want to go on the retreat, which you know they have these issues, so you're going to write it to those issues, that person. And I'm going to want the qualifier, and the qualifier is going to tell me who this is for, again, in a little bit more detail, and what I'm going to get out of this retreat. It's going to tell me the benefit, the main benefits and results. And by the time I read those two things, I'm going to be locked in to reading the rest of your sales page, because now I know it's like, wait a minute, this is for me, and it's solving the problem that I'm struggling with, that I want help with, that I want to find. Even if it's like, I need to find the perfect place to relax and hang out with my people that I love. And if that's what your retreat's about, that's great. But you've got to tell me that. Okay. And this is all centered around knowing who your ideal client avatar is. All right. And if you've been in business any length of time, if you've worked with a coach, you are a coach, we've all heard that. Who's your ideal client? We call it your avatar because it's a creation of a person. And you want to start all of your copywriting messaging for your sales page and all your marketing material by really clearly defining who that is. And there's a whole process you can go through. That's not just and it's not just demographics, it's demographics, it's psychographics. That means their lifestyle and what interests them, not just their age and income and geography. And then you want to write the message that speaks to them. And there's a whole crafting of doing that. So it's really effective and really well written as copy, which is what? Short, concise, impactful, just the necessary information. And so when you combine those things on a sales page with all the other things we're going to talk about, you've got a really powerful message that's written for the person who wants to go on your retreat that you want to hang out with. So we love to stress that because it's kind of the missing piece. It's like, what do I write on my page? What's important to them? What should be here? Should I put this here? You do this and it solves all those questions. That's exactly what you should be writing to them. What do you think, Nick?
I think that's great. Let me ask you guys this question. How many of you are afraid that you're going to miss something in pricing? If I could give you a list of 150 hidden costs for retreats, how many of you would want to snatch that up? Let me see a quick show of hands. Okay. A lot of folks. Okay. Here's where this is all going. I don't have that list for you right now. Actually, I've got it, but I ain't going to give it to you right now. Here's what I ask you. You all had a problem. You're afraid that you're going to lose something, okay? That you're going to miss something. I wasn't trying to sell you anything. I was trying to help you get past this fear of yours. So many of us have the mindset that, oh, sales is sleazy and I don't want to make people feel like, I'm trying to sell them. How do I get past that? What you're just shifting your mindset where you're going to help people. Yes, I've got a list of 150 things that I use to make sure that I don't miss things when I'm pricing a retreat. If I held a workshop or a retreat where we could talk about those kind of things, you guys would sign up because I'm solving a problem for you. You have to answer the questions when you're putting together your sales sheet. Is this for me? Who am I helping? And can I trust you to take me there? So think of your sales page as a personal letter to a friend that you're asking if they need assistance and that you're going to show them that they can get that assistance from you. Don't be a billboard just screaming facts. help solve problems. And that's one of the reasons why, especially in the Retreat Blueprint program, if you guys sign up for that, we tell you how to get to those questions and how to get, how to bring people on that journey that you're crafting. So selling as an act of service, and it's about helping the right people. So there you have it. That's my next tip.
Nice. So true, so true. So, when you're writing a retreat sales page and you're taking on someone on overnight stays to a destination, this is much more involved than writing a workshop, 1-day workshop flyer. Okay. Because we see retreat sales pages for a 5-day or 7-day thing that's like a 1-page thing. And we go, that's not enough information to tell me if I need to go on this retreat, if I want to go on this retreat. Because what have you brought into doing here is you've got, where am I traveling to? Where am I staying? What are my rooms like? What's the food and dietary thing? Can they meet the way I like to eat? Because now we've all become, I know I have as I gotten older, a lot more intelligent and a lot more discerning and a lot more picky about things I'll eat and won't eat. Is that going to be taken care of? If I can't find that out, I can't go. I literally can't go. It's like, what's there to eat? And you have to include all those things in beautiful detail in order for a person to be able to make a decision on it. So you need to do what we call a long form or multi-page sales page with the pertinent information for a retreat. And there are sections that need to be in there. Now, there's sections that need to be in there to convince people to give them all the information to go on. And there's sections you need to have on there to be legally compliant contractually with do things. What do you have to have a cancellation policy? What do you have to have in your registration process? What do you have to have included as far as what's included and what's not included? Okay. So those are important things to have in there. And we have sales page templates in our course that are done by section, and you can choose which ones you do, and we list those as optional, but there's some you actually absolutely have to be legal, whether it's in Europe or whether you're in the United States or Canada and things like that. So, you want to be sure that you're putting together comprehensive for them and do it so that they can read it and know, oh, I've got my questions answered. And then they can go through it and then they can get the pertinent information that they want. They'll skip the things they're not interested in the moment, but it's all there. Okay, this makes an effective sales page, folks. Okay, and so the venue, the retreat space and location explanation. Why did you pick XYZ location in Mexico? Why are you Why are you in Bali? Why are you in the Sedona Desert? Why are you in the Pacific Northwest Redwoods? Why is that? Why is that? Why does your ideal client avatar want to be there versus, sitting in Iceland, right? You want to pick a place and a theme and highlight that in your sales page about where they want to be. And now I'm going to get back to another important thing that I see people do. Remember we talked about what do you put on your sales page? In your marketing material, you put on what's important to them. Okay. What's important to them is the issues that they have in life that they want help with, the issues, wants, and desires that they want help with that they'll get on this retreat, how comfortable they're going to be on this retreat, how much they're going to enjoy it personally. Out of those three things, where did you come up in the list? You, the retreat leader, you haven't yet. You're way down on their interest level to begin with. What do we see on so many retreat sales pages that people do early? They talk about themselves in the first third of the page. Who your retreat leader is, what my experience is, what my CV is, what I've learned, what are my certifications, all those things. Mistake. They're not interested in you yet. They don't know if this is for them. You haven't told them that I know who you are and I want to help you. Once I have that, it's like, oh, this person says that they can do this for me, create the environment, experience, and education or transformation I want. Okay, now I'll find out more about them, but that's not what's on the top of their list. So do not start with, because I see this like usually within the first section, join me, da 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 da. And it's like, why should I join you? I don't know what this retreat is about yet. I don't know. You haven't told me that you can, what the results are going to be for me. Okay. That's kind of like one of the top mistakes people make when they don't know how to structure and what to include in their sales page. Nick, can you talk about the importance of the imagine section and storytelling when you do a retreat
Oh,
sales page?
sure, absolutely. Um, so while I said earlier that you've got to have a header that really kind of spells out what's going on, the imagine is the section is where you start weaving that magic. You've got to be able to put people into the mindset, into the place that they're going to be. So if you just tell me that we're going to uh, Puerto Vallarta, okay? And you're going to get off the plane. You're going to get off the plane, and I'm going to take you to this villa where you're going to have margaritas, and you'll have a great time. There's no romance there. I need to be seduced into what's going on. So imagine is a powerful, powerful word that is going to draw your people into your story. So imagine you step off the plane in Puerto Vallarta where you are greeted by friends with margaritas as we whisk you by private car to our villa. We catch up on the latest. Imagine looking over the bay where there's whales playing and you finally get a chance to exhale. Anything that you can do to weave people into the actual scene where they can feel that they're going to be there is incredibly important. Um, while Leo is very much a facts and figures person, and I like being rooted in that stuff as well, there's nothing more powerful than somebody weaving a story that is going to transport you into another place. And you can continue to use that imagine piece to also then talk about food. Here's this remarkable food that you're going to have. Be descriptive. So many folks are so afraid to be descriptive. They'll just say, you're going to have a vegetarian meal. Gee, thanks. That sounds exciting. Okay. Imagine tasting spices and combinations like you've never had before. Imagine imagine having roasted vegetables over an open fire as presented from centuries before. Um, Anything that you can do to bring people into the exact moment where they are, where they're going to be on that trip, is magical. Use that magic. Leo?
Yeah, it's powerful. I mean, if I'm going to draw people in, they want to be romanced by what the experience is going to be. They start to have ideas of, ooh, I'd love to go to Greece and be on a Greek island, uh, or in the Indian or Peruvian Andes, in the lush jungle by Machu Picchu. I mean, I'm talking about places I've been, but it's like I couldn't imagine what both those places were like until I got there. And it's like you can draw them in and just create this scene for it. It's really, really powerful. It's like, God, I would love to experience that. So, you know, do it. And one of the things we've done in the course is we've set up examples of what this sounds and looks like and structured for length, okay? Because it's got to be long enough to romance them, set a full scene, but without being too long, that it starts to turn into a story that they kind of get. Well, I'm not here to read a novel, but doing it. So the length is important. Word count. We've got this all broken down into examples. It's like the word count. We've got AI tools in there that will actually write sections of these things so that you have a really finished draft. You can customize it, but it's all set up to be the right length, that have the right tone and quality, and you can customize these things. So as technology comes along and the tools get stronger and stronger with AI, we've implemented them so that all you have to do is like answer the questions on a questionnaire and it'll write it for you. And then you can customize it and do it. And we wrote it we made this to a quality is like, if you did nothing else, we said you would have a successful sales page from what the AI generated. which is what a lot of people struggle with because they're not creative writers. Their mind doesn't work that way, and it's a skill to learn. Well, here it goes. It's like another thing that's taken off your plate time wise, because it takes time to put a thing together, write it, edit it, redo it, and stuff like that. But the tools are there now to make it really facilitate you moving ahead with it, doing it correctly, and not having to go back and forth. And that's another thing we do in our course is we read all of your material that you've written for your sales page, that you've written to develop your ideal client avatar. The coaches, Nick, myself, Ava, Brant, Carol, we read it, we proofread it, we edit it for you, give it back to you with recommendations so that you're on track the whole way. So, those are really powerful tools to have at your thing because you're learning a whole new skill set here. So if you're brand new into it, but even if you're experienced, there's a lot you can pick up. I know I learned a heck of a lot. Nick was doing retreats before he joined the course. It
Mhm.
sharpened up his skill level a lot through the course. Nick is one of our uh, uh, cheerleaders for our processes in the course, I think, Nick, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys completely changed the way that I was doing things. I went from doing events that broke even, which was nice, to doing the first event which made 7 grand. And from that point on, it's never been less than 10 grand per event that I've done. um you know Croatia was $26,000, which was lovely. And the nice thing about the Wanderlust Entrepreneur Retreat Blueprint Program course for me, it's a recipe. It is a freaking recipe. If I'm trying to make my grandmother's Italian uh, wedding cake, she gave me a recipe that I follow. And as long as I follow it, I'm always going to get great results. I can maybe make a little change here or there. And as soon as I realize it's not giving me the results that I want, I go back to the recipe. And I find that the same with Wanderlust Blueprint Program. Every now and then I'll get a little cocky and say, oh, I'm going to try something a little bit different. And I don't get the same results. I end up going back to the Retreat Blueprint Program recipe, and I get the results that I expect. So if you've if you haven't taken if you haven't taken the Retreat Blueprint Program or any of the other courses, I highly, highly recommend that you invest the time and the money into taking your business to the next level, because it truly paid for itself with my first trip. So yes, I'm a huge Retreat Blueprint fan. Uh, and here I am 5 years later, still waving my pom poms. So
Yeah, I'm just gonna drop in something that to exercise that because we as coaches, we with Wanderlust, we run retreats with one as Wanderlust retreats. And if we write up a sales page, we develop our messaging for our ideal clients, avatars, which is retreat leaders who are interested in transformation. And we do it. And we held just to show you how powerful it was, and what the ideal client avatar language does for your sales page and for your success of your sales is 2 years ago, we ran a retreat to Teotihuacan, Mexico, and it was for retreat leaders. And um, Teotihuacan is the site outside Mexico City with the ancient pyramid complex, the pyramid of the sun and the moon, etc. And we had 6 people sign up, and we were kind of like disappointed. It was a great retreat, but we had 6 people. But on that retreat, we asked our ideal clients, because those were the people who signed up. We knew that they were the people we were trying to target. Why did you sign up? And they told us, we wanted to hang out with you coaches, get to know you, and talk with you and find out more about what you do to help us be more successful retreat leaders, business wise, leading retreats. We wanted to see how you led a retreat. Guess what? That was not the core of our message on our sales page. It was in there, but it wasn't the core messaging that we have at home. So what do? We went back home, we redid our sales page, we redid our messaging to focus on those benefits for the same group of people we're going to market to for the next year. We extended the retreat by 1 day. We upped the price by about 20%. And by changing our message, we got 20 people to go. But that's the powerful thing of getting your message correct for your ideal client. We knew what they wanted, and we said, we will deliver this. Okay. And then they signed up, and all of us had a fantastic experience. Best retreat I've ever led. So if you wonder why your retreat isn't selling on your sales page, I always say you got your message wrong. You didn't give them what they want in the language that they were ready to hear it in. You need to get the language they're ready to hear, not how you speak about it, but how they speak about it. These are all little, very important tweaks, because communications is a skill set. It's like, what do you mean by that? You say this in your language, which may be your modality speak or your industry speak, but they're talking about their everyday problems. So you want to get that in their language. And then once you do that, you can correct it. It goes. So we've had people correct their languaging on their retreat sales page midstream. It's not selling. We look at the language. Well, this is wrong. This isn't wrong. This is wrong. This is not who you said your ideal client is looking for. And they fix it, and then things start to go. Okay. It's so important. It just gives you a compass to always go back and touchstone about why it isn't selling. It's never the price, folks. It's never the price. That's the important thing I want to stress here. It's the value and the communication of the solution that they're looking for. Did you communicate it effectively? So, Nick, we're coming up on about the halfway point. I think good time to open up for questions. What do you think?
Yeah, can I leave just one last more piece of advice? If I were to mix up cake batter right now and stick it in the oven and take it out 3 minutes from now, you ain't got a cake. All right. You still got slop. All right. You got to give your retreats some time to bake. You can't put together a retreat and expect it to sell out in 4 weeks, kids. You got to give yourself plenty of time. I've got a retreat on the books for next October, next year, October. All right. I've got 4 people signed up. I know it's going to sell, but that's next year, October, not this year. Give yourself plenty of time. So let that cake bake. All right. So there you have it. Leo, I'm done. I must be hungry. I keep going back to all of these food references today.
Yeah, no doubt. And you started me on it too. God, I miss Greek food. We gotta go to Greece
Right?
again. Okay, so we're open for questions. If you want to raise your hand either electronically on Zoom or just visually on the camera so that we can see you, then we'll take questions. And we'd also love to know, people in the Zoom thing here, if you want to just type in where in the world are you dreaming of having a retreat? Kind of what have you been dreaming of, and have you led retreats before? It's very interesting for us to find out where you guys are at.
Larissa, you're doing one in Italy or you want to do one in Italy? Leslie says 2 to Mexico and 1 to Portugal. Cool. Planning for Italy. Fantastic. Angel, Norway. And who's this for Sedona?
Oh, Tamika did a small one in Sedona. Great location. Love Sedona. Tamika, you say you'd love to have a successful one this year. How financially or personally rewarding was your one to Sedona that you did?
So I would love for it to be, I like small retreats because I do like being able to have that kind of those intimate conversations. So being able to sell out, having 6 or 7 really wonderful women there who leave and say that their lives are going to be different once they get home. That's kind of my idea of success. Making money, yes, awesome. would love to make money, but I really want to do something where people feel like they get a tremendous amount of value.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of new folks like Heidi and Pastor Paulette, are both new first timers. Fantastic. Where Pastor Paulette, were you planning on doing it? Do you have any ideas yet?
No ideas. I was thinking to start something locally first and doing something just for a couple of days just to kind of get a feel of the ladies, a feel of how to even go about doing it. And so that's kind of where I am right now. I'm in Northern California near San Francisco.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And Heidi, any ideas? Feel free to pipe in anytime. That's cool. And Lisa, is this going to be your first retreat?
Yes, it is going to be our first retreat. We do lots of other programming, but we haven't done a retreat like this before. And it's coming up really soon, so I didn't take your advice of planning far in advance. It's been planning for 20 years, but we just never made it happen. So.
As long as everybody
Not
else knows that
unusual.
it's been in the works for 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I couldn't find my mute button.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at it for the future for like kind of an income stream.
Sure. Awesome.
So just wanted to kind of, while you guys were hosting this, I was like, let me get all the information I can get.
Yep, absolutely. So a couple things that come to mind. Doing retreats as as an addition to your current business or practice is fabulous. Okay. It is a fabulous piece to add to your service to people. Okay. It allows them to go deeper. It allows you to the intense experience of a 4, 5, 6 day retreat being together will cause more catalyst for transformation, change, and growth than 1 day sessions, even just a 1 day workshop. It's just a completely different experience. Changed the direction of my life completely. My first retreat, and I don't think anything else probably could have got me moving and unstuck like that retreat did, because we're stuck. Let's face it. Without some momentum, it really gave me the momentum to go, and the experience of what I wanted more of my life to be like what I experienced on that retreat. So they're powerful, powerful things, but they're also great things to feed other parts of your business, because people will say you do coaching or have clients or whatever. I don't know what your businesses are, with one-on-ones with people or something like that. But they go on this group experience, and you create a whole community of people who want to be involved with you in your community. And from that, they'll go to your 1 day workshops. They'll sign up for your courses. They'll go to other retreats. And so it becomes a thing where you feed all the other components of your offerings with the retreat. And it's great, great profit center. Okay. Because people are looking for more. Because if you do group experiences, those group experiences are a whole component of what a retreat is. It's not just the content you're doing, it's the group experience and the friendships and the life experiences that you have. Just incredibly powerful and attractive to go on. My community became the people I was going on retreats with. It just did, because we were of like mind, like experiences, and we were all on the same path and journey with the same things. So such a cool thing to do for your business and for yourself.
So I took a group to Vegas this year. I detest Vegas. For anybody from Vegas, I apologize, but Vegas is not my kind of place. It's too noisy, too loud, too. All right. I attracted a completely different group than I normally would, which is odd. There were like 2 repeat customers, because I have some folks who come to just about everything, but there was a whole new group who came to this particular event. They were so in love with each other before the end of the week. They found a community. And for men especially, we always talk about how over the age of 30, 40, it becomes so difficult to find like-minded people. These guys, these 14 guys fell in love with each other so fast, so hard, that not only did they keep up with each other and they visit each other, they forced me, they twisted my arm to book another Vegas trip for next year just so they could put money in my pocket just to get them together again next year. So if you listen to people, they'll tell you how they want to give you money. So I booked another Vegas trip, immediately sold out. Of the 14 guys who came this year, 12 immediately signed up for next year, and I filled the other 2 spots. If the business is built right, you will get people just cycling through again and again and again. God bless Gary J, who comes on my trips. Gary J has been to 16 of my trips in the last 4 years. Love Gary. Love Gary. And he's one of those people that when somebody new comes into the fold, he welcomes, he's like an unofficial spokesman for my business because he is just that welcoming committee. So you're setting up a catalyst. And if the message that you deliver is correct and they feel a part of you and your business, they help that marketing like you wouldn't believe. So it looks like Leslie's got a question. Leslie, come talk to us.
Yeah. So I think Leo touched on this, but when you have a retreat sales page that, you've put your heart and soul into or whatever, you thought it was great, right? And you're not getting the reaction you want. And so you make a decision to like change some of the messaging or go in there, repost it on the website. How you mentioned that that's actually okay, because I was thinking in my head that that's totally taboo, right? Like the messaging's out there, it's imprinted on the people that have signed up, and you can't change the messaging now. But can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so what you can't change are the services you're going to deliver.
Okay.
Okay, because you have what's included, what's not included in there, and the description. But what you can change is the description of the benefits that you're going to do. Okay, and you're not going to be all over the place, but you're going to do some additions too. Now, it's easier to do if you don't have any signups, but you can also send an email out to the people who've already signed up. Just say, hey, I'm updating the website. I'm going to put some additions on there. Do an explanation. These people, you're going to get everything that I talked about. We're not deleting anything, but I'm just changing the messaging to speak more clearly to people. Okay, because it shouldn't be way off, because you're still talking to the same ideal client avatar, but you're going to focus on different areas. And this mainly comes in the pain points you're going to discuss and the benefits. This is where we're mostly talking about. You're not changing the venue. You're not changing the cuisine. You're changing the language you do in your pain points and benefits. And that's the marketing language that you write. Like in the course, you're going to develop your ideal client avatar description of exactly who that person is and what they want and what their pain points are. That's a marketing term. That's their needs, wants, desires, issues that they want help with. Okay. So you're going to focus on different pain points in the description. And then in the course, we have you go one step further, which I think is the important part, is we take your description of those things for your ideal client avatar, and we take it through a process to write the copy for those things, because that's the meat of your message that impacts them into buying. Okay. So you're gonna tweak that. And so that part is fine.
So speaking to the avatar concept, which I totally have honed in, but I feel like, does the avatar change for the retreat? Like you don't have just one avatar for all of your retreats. Like I do wellness retreats, and then I do creative retreats that tap into like painting or writing or something like that. And they're kind of different avatars, I feel like. Am I
Yes.
right in my thinking there?
Yes, you're exactly right. If you
Okay.
have a different retreat that you're doing with a different topic,
Mhm.
you have a different avatar, and you need to redesign your avatar from front to back.
Okay. And so if I'm changing the pain points midstream on this writer's retreat, which Leo was helping me with last week, um, changing it sort of midstream to different pain points, is that not like changing my avatar midstream?
No,
Or,
because you're still writing to the same avatar, but
okay,
you've honed in on what's important to them.
okay.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
if you've done a description of your ideal client avatar,
Mhm,
and you've identified what they're looking for on your retreat, and this is a writing retreat, right? And you know what they're
mhm.
looking for. Okay. But did you write the language that communicates it effectively? And did you highlight the most important things that they're looking for in your benefits section?
Yeah. And so I think for me, one of my mistakes on this has been not identifying the avatar for this retreat because he's different than the painting retreat and the wellness retreat. And so I just kind of was thinking I'd tap into my existing email list and client list.
Uh,
And of course, they're going to love writing, right, with this author, but it's not happening.
no, no, completely different because
Okay.
now if you were just going to say, if you had an avatar that was, I want to do all things creative, and writing was in that list of things that they wanted to do, painting, the other things you mentioned, and writing was in there, and you already knew that, then you would do it. But you assumed that they were interested in writing as well. And if it's not going that way, now you're finding out it's like, oh, I'm speaking to the wrong audience.
Right. And then the partner, the author, I thought, well, her audience will respond to it. And she wasn't involved in the messaging or the sales page. She was just like, you just do what you do. And anyway, lots of lessons learned on this one.
Yeah, right. And then you have to find out who is her audience.
All right.
Because you need to know that. Well, because I would say from my point of view, now look, I look at hundreds of our course members' ideal client avatars every year. Hundreds. And I've been doing this for 7 years. So when all these things come up, I think, well, yeah, you've partnered with somebody, but who's their avatar that they're marketing to? Let me look at
Mhm.
their marketing material. Let me ask her a bunch of questions. Let me have her fill out the questionnaire with the answers of who our ideal client is. So I was like, oh,
Mm,
she's got this specific niche of people interested in writing because there's niches within all those things, and you want
mhm.
to know those things. And the more you can niche down and get really identified and granular in that, way more successful you will be. So this is the interesting thing about niches and marketing, especially with retreats. The more niched down you are, the more you can define what you're offering in that group, the more successful you'll be in marketing it. General doesn't work well.
Right.
Okay. We think that if I do general, I get a lot more people. No, it's so general that the people who are really interested in it don't get the message strongly.
Right. So the concept of like trying to be all things to all people, no. It's like going for certain people.
Recipe for disaster
Right.
in this thing, being all those all people. And it's a really counterintuitive thing when you think about, I want to sell this thing to a bunch of people.
Right.
No, you want to be really specific on it, because if you're not selling to one person, you have to write this for one specific person. That's the key to writing this, who has one specific or a set of specific needs. And then when you write it that way, it's effective. And you don't have to catch every person who reads that has every single one of those things. But if they have several overlapping, they'll sign up. They'll
Mm-hmm.
be interested. Okay. It works. It works. It works. It works.
Okay. Thank you so much for all of that.
If I can pipe in, getting back to the first point about updating the website with new language and stuff, movies do this all the time. So when Wicked came out last year, they released a trailer. and it hit the audience that they wanted it to hit. Okay, so people got excited about it, but there were still some people on the fence. Well, what do? They released the second trailer. And 75% of the content is exactly the same as you saw in trailer one, but they add just a little bit extra details. They didn't change the message of the movie. They just added a little bit more details that got you even a little bit more interested. And then they released a third trailer. Okay. So changing that message, changing the content 3 times still led everybody to the same event. And now the second movie is coming out. We've already seen 2 trailers, and you know there's going to be at least a third one. And I'm taking the same approach for my Vegas trip. I'm changing up the content every couple of months to try to bring in just that next level of audience. So don't be afraid to change the stuff up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because, yeah, and I was just having a close, not being super experienced, whatever, but I was having this closed mind like, oh, no, we can't change the messaging, but I'm hearing very differently. So thank you.
Add to the message. I change my pictures around every now and then. Just
Mhm.
keep it shake it up.
Yep.
Shake it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
We have, gosh, I had a great point to make and I lost it. It'll come back. I'm going to drop in a link here, and it's a link to a webinar that talks about designing your sales page that Sherry's done. Sherry does a 2-hour webinar talk here. It's really good. She's going to show you in detail what she's talking about and stuff like that. So I highly encourage you to copy the link and jump over there and watch it if you're thinking about how you need to design your sales page. Now, remember, we do all the bells and whistles, and we do it. And so we want to look at this and go, wow, this is what a successful retreat sales page looks like. Okay. And then go out there and compare retreat sales pages and just see where they're kind of like not following this and why they should and if they're successful or not. And look for those things. How good are the photos? High quality photos, folks. High quality. Who are they talking to? Are they talking about themselves? Or are they talking about what they're going to deliver? Are they talking about their modalities and how they're going to teach you? Or are they talking about the results? People are not interested in how you're going to do it yet. They want to know what results you're going to deliver. Most people we all get stuck on talking about modalities, about how we're going to get there. They don't need to know that yet. You talk about that later. Okay. Really short, concise text that doesn't bore us. No long messages all the way across the page and long paragraphs that make us tired to read and just kind of zone out. And it's like, well, I'm not going to spend the time to read that. Let me zone down. Let me look at some more pictures. Let me get to do it. Pictures and images, because it's a destination retreat. I mean, show me the beauty of this place. Romance me some more, right? Let me imagine some more with your photos. So effective and so much better. I see some retreat sales pages with almost no pictures. I don't know what the venue looks like. I don't know what my rooms look like. That's important. We want to. What are the things we want to take care of? Our emotions, our body, our tummy, and our experience. So show me the room. I want to know where I'm sleeping. What's my bed like? It's not a comfortable bed. Maybe I have a bad back. Beds are really important to me, right? Are they gluten free? Do they do vegetarian only? All these things are like, dude, have that in there, but have pictures of the food, mouth-watering food. Oh my God. So put them in the scene. Put them in the scene and the experience. And it's like, oh, I want to be there. I mean, I read retreat sales pages that they finished, people have finished and posted in our group on subjects I have no interest in being in. By the time I read their copy, see their location, where they're staying, what it's going to be like, I want to go on that retreat. And I am not their ideal client avatar at all. Like a writing retreat, shoot me in the head. But I've read some writing retreat things. I go, this is cool. Nick, the weirdest one that I ever had happen was it was a professor who taught how to write your PhD dissertation. But she did such a good job on her sales page.
There's one that I follow. ladies who lit. This woman, this retreat leader rents out castles in Ireland and Scotland and all these exotic locations. And all you're doing is bringing books. You're just bringing your books and you're reading. Everybody reads one book the same, but she is giving you time and space to breathe and surrounding you with like-minded people. And the way that she paints the picture for her retreats, I'm like, I want to go on this thing. This sounds fantastic. Just to
Right.
have that space and that time for yourself where you just get to lay around and read for a week. Oh my God. So such a simple concept. And she is sold out now. I think she's booking into 2028. So
Yep.
more power to her. I wish my guys read. I need to find I need to find literate people.
Any questions on anything else retreat related, folks? Pick Nick's brain, pick my brain.
Yeah, we're here.
You cannot believe the amount of retreat topics that we have seen people doing things on. It's amazing and very, very cool. I mean, I've seen people who they work in Hollywood in the movie industry, and they're talking to writers about refine your pitch. We'll show you how to refine and present your pitch for your script. I thought this was a really cool idea because they were used to getting shut down and not being successful. And so they said, no, you will take your pitch through a 5-day process, and you will pitch it to us, and you'll pitch it to the other people in the thing, and you'll work on it and do it. And it's like such a cool idea.
Leslie's got a question, and then Heidi's got a question in the chat. So Leslie, what you got?
So to you, Nick, how many retreats do you do a year? And when you launch them, how much time do you allow in between the launching? So like, I'm kind of wondering, next year I have these 3. I'm on to number 2, just launched it. And I'm wondering about number 3, which is September of 2026. How do you manage that when you have multiple?
A lot of coffee. A lot of coffee. So one, you've got to have a back end system that's going to help you just organize the emails and the payments and the forms and all that other stuff that goes out. And there's systems in place that will help you do that if you don't already have a thing in place. Last year, I think I did 11 events total.
My God.
Yeah, I backed down this year. This year I'm just doing 9, plus a couple of online workshops and stuff. But let's look at some math. Okay, at 10 grand a piece minimum, 9 events, and I'm working from the corner of my couch right now. Okay, this is where all the magic happens, is the corner of this couch. That's not a bad income for sitting on a couch. Okay, and I get to take my partner with me on these events, and he does do work for me, but you know, we both have a passion for travel, and the work that I do, I think, is important. So, you know, all told, it's a remarkable business to be in. I put my retreats up. I try to do it a minimum of a year in advance. I think the quickest one I ever turned around was 9 months, and I hated it. I panicked. It sold out, but 9 months just felt like it was far too little time. So I try to do a year in advance or more if I can.
And so how much time, when you're launching 9 retreats, do you launch one a month, one every month and a half, or do you just like kind of?
Whenever I've got enough details together,
Okay.
whenever I know that I've got the venue lined up with a good cancellation policy, that I've got enough pieces in place where I can launch it confidently, I'll do it. I may not have everything nailed down, but as long as I've got a good venue with a good cancellation policy, a general idea of what I'm going to be doing itinerary wise and what my goal is, I'll put it out there, and then I'll work on it as we go. I've got Marrakesh coming up in 28 days. I've got pretty much everything done except for one restaurant that we're going out to. But, you know, I took a full year to just kind of line all those pieces up. I knew what I wanted to do. So, yeah,
So you launch them one after another.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I rarely
Thank
launch
you.
two at the same time.
Okay.
Got to give them a little breathing space.
Yeah.
Now, remember, what Nick has is he has the same audience for all of these retreats pretty much, right, Nick?
Yeah.
It's the same ideal client avatar. So he's got to be sure that, and he has a vibrantly going community and things like that. So you build a retreat, but you have to build your audience probably on the front end. Okay. If you're going to build it at the same time you're building retreat, you need a year because you got to build your audience that you're going to market it to and do it. If you've got an audience, we want to say give yourself at least 6 months. And Nick said, you know, he was sweating at 9, and he's got a built-in audience that he's developed over the years. So you just want to give it time because people retreats are big items on their calendars, right? They got to carve out a week. So and people, you know, have busy calendars, and so you know you got to give them time for that. So remember that you want, you know, 9 months a year, good. 6 months, meh. You know, unless your people are really vibrantly ready to go and they have space. So, you know, one of the things we want to stress is your marketing and building your audience is really important to market your retreat too, because you're going to have cost and time and effort built into setting that retreat up. It's not like a one-day workshop where all you did was rent an inexpensive venue place for the day. No, there's deposits, booking, research, and all that kind of stuff, flights and things like that. So it brings in a whole nother thing about you want to make sure this thing is a successful go. Okay. I'm going to get ways. What is the best way to find cool venue places? All I can come up with is research, word of mouth if you can. Find somebody local in the area that if you can. I mean, our main group is a good place to ask questions and get feedback because there's people from all over the world who've done retreats in different places. Read the reviews of those places. I mean, find a location that you're really interested that works for your retreat and your people that they want to go to, and research the heck out of that. There are amazing, amazing venues out there. Nick, would you have anything on that?
Yeah. So Wanderlust tells you not to use Airbnb and not to use VRBO. I have a caveat to that. If you go to one of their sites, I like VRBO. Find one that you love, got the rooms, has the cancellation policy, all that other good stuff. Right click on the photos. Do a reverse image search. Do a Google image search. See if that location has an actual website outside of VRBO, and then contact them directly and say, will you honor your cancellation policy? And can we work on a better price than what's through VRBO? 99% of the time, they'll say yes.
Oh,
You'll save a few $100 and you get that cancellation policy in writing and you are golden. So
the reason, and you know, there's a legal reason we don't recommend our Airbnb. Airbnb actually prohibits that in their contract with their vendor, with the people who own the Airbnb. And Airbnb has cancellation policies, and we've had people who get canceled in the week before the retreat, they lost their venue. Oh, Nick is another
that
one.
happened. Well, fortunately, I'm here in Cleveland and there's a house that I use. I went back this year for the second time. A week before, I got a cancellation notice from Airbnb saying that your venue was canceled. And I was like, what the F? So I reached out to the person who I worked with last year. I don't know why I went through Airbnb instead of offline. And I said, did you cancel this? He's like, I didn't cancel it. I thought you canceled it. I was like, I didn't cancel it. So we just took the entire transaction offline away from Airbnb and we did the transaction there. So it worked out, and that was what cemented the fact that I will not book through Airbnb or VRBO again.
Yeah. And then our last question from Larissa is, how about adding videos from previous retreats or facilitators talking about the retreat? Does it add benefits to the sales page? It can. Videos are trickier. Doing a good video is tricky, okay? You've got to get your languaging down. Remember what we talked about when you're doing the languaging for your copywriting? It's got to be concise, impactful, short, specific, things like that. When you do videos, the person might run on. The video can run a lot longer than you think. And that becomes problematic. Production value needs to be importantly done well in order to highlight you. As you put all this effort into a beautiful page and done it, and getting very specific on what you're talking about. We don't think videos, for us at Wanderlust, we don't think video is critical or key component to doing it at all. I will say one exception that we like the video on is testimonials. If you get a video testimonial from one of your previous attendees, gold. Live person talking about their experience on the retreat, excellent. Highly suggest, if you can, get them to do a video on the last day of the retreat before they leave. It's tough because people are ready for doing it, but they are glowing and so excited at that point, and ask for video testimonials and just tell them to keep it to 5 minutes. Now it's people go, oh, 5 minutes. It's so hard to keep it under 10. I'm always shocked at how long it can run, even when I do it myself. So videos can be good. You got to be really careful if it's about a facilitator, or even if it's on the venue, because we've seen really long videos of the venue and it's like, it's too long, folks. Under 2 minutes. A 2-minute video is plenty long. Okay. What's the sweet spot duration for retreat? Is it 5 days, 10 days, or 15 days? I'll answer this one just because it goes back to one of my favorite things, the avatar. What's the sweet spot for your avatar, your ideal client? That's the question you got to ask. There's no sweet spot for the length. What works for your ideal avatar? What are they interested in? What content and experience do you want to create for them? That's your length of time. Everything comes back. Does it work for my ideal client avatar? And if I don't know, you got to find that out. Once you do, it's like, oh, they can't be along that way from their kids. They can't be along that way from their work. They don't want to travel that far. Depends on are they travelers? Will they go, yeah, I'll fly 2 days to get to a spot in Asia and 2 days back. Well, that's 4 days of the retreat spent traveling. You better be a 14-day retreat minimum. Okay. So all of these things come into play. And it, again, does it suit your ideal client avatar? Because if it doesn't, they won't buy it. Super good questions. It's firing up. You guys really got lit on fire onto this thing last night.
Right.
Okay. We're out of time. Really recommend you check out Sherry's thing. She doesn't hold back on information. So this is a really valuable thing of your time. And we'll see you guys next week on the retreat hotline. I'll be there. Trying to remember. I think I'll be there with Ava. And enjoy your week, and gosh, good luck with all your travels, wherever you are.
Right.
Thanks, Nick.
See everybody. Thanks, Leo. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you.